One of the dangers to our spiritual life can be our own familiarity with the gospel. And by that I mean we become so familiar with the story, with the life, the death, and the resurrection of Jesus. Whether it's because we've been in church for years, whether it's because we've read the Bible or we have Bible verses memorized. But the point is, it just becomes information that we already know. And so when we hear that articulation of the gospel, we no longer engage with that message, nor do we see that message as affecting us, as coming to us. And so our spiritual life just becomes lived by rote. But one of the things that we hear in Scripture, particularly in the book of Acts, is that when there's the articulation of the gospel, people feel themselves addressed and they respond vigorously, passionately. We hear this in our reading from Acts today. Peter, this is the day of Pentecost, he stands up and he articulates the gospel. This is the day of Pentecost, and he talks about how God is doing something in their midst, and it all centers around this Jesus who was crucified, but who has been risen, and he is now Lord, and he is Messiah, and because of that, God is pouring out God's Spirit on all of us. And there is this kind of natural invitation for people to find themselves within that story, within that event. And what we hear is that people are cut to the heart. And they're cut to the heart not because they're sitting there thinking, this is information I've never heard before. No, they're seeing themselves addressed. They're hearing the gospel message articulated as something that is for them. And whether it is because they're dealing with their own sense of unforgiveness, and in the gospel they hear the truth that Jesus comes to them and forgives them, whether they are struggling with feelings that, well, maybe God doesn't love me, and maybe I'm just kind of cast out from God's good graces. And in the story of the resurrection, what they hear is that Jesus extends love and forgiveness and grace to everybody. Whether they feel guilty for something and then they hear this word of whatever it is, they feel that the word of Jesus and the presence of the Spirit is for them. And so they are cut to the heart